Hey everybody, it's Matt Electric here, and we're back in the Battle Stadium for some more VGC, and today, we're going to be using Blastoise from one gen Pokemon to another. So yeah, this team is built around a Shell Smash Blastoise, which, I mean, it doesn't have the White Herb, which makes it a little bit, which I think is a bit odd. We're running Mystic Water, so clearly very, very offensive, but Shell Smash, Water Spout, Flash Cannon, and Ice Beam is the Blastoise set. Partner with a support Raichu, a support Togekiss, and a support Clefairy. Rotom also has Redirection. And you've also got Arcanine there to deal with Ferrothorn. But let's get straight into it. So the types of teams which I'm really scared of with this team are any that have very bulky water types. Like, I'm not entirely sure how we beat Milotic, especially if it is a Life Orb variant with Ice Beam. Because if they can hit Rotom, I basically just have to protect Rotom and hope for the best, really. Because this is going to be pretty tough. Fortunately, first game, there are no water types on this team. And I look at it, and honestly, Blastoise could run straight through this team. It's a little bit awkward of a lead because of Whimsicott, and we can't really afford to let that Tailwind go up. So that's something we're going to be trying to shut down quite early. But my opponent has a Chandelure, a Noivern, which is interesting, a Whim, a Conk. This is not my normal pen, and it feels very weird. Dracozolt, and Bisharp. Okay, so as I said, we're going to be using Blastoise here. I could actually lead Arcanine as an Intimidator. I mean, even if we do lead Arcanine, I've got Close Combat on it. It's quite an offensive Arcanine variant. We've got Close Combat to beat the Bisharp, so I'm actually going to go Arcanine, and I just need to stall out this potential Trick Room. So if you end up leading Whimsicott, then I'm going to go Arcanine Togekiss. We're going to have Blastoise in the back. Maybe I should be leading Blastoise. I'm not sure. We'll go Blastoise, and I'll have Raichu there for support, I think. Yeah, that should do us. Raichu will give me a nice switch into the Dracozolt if it wants to fire off a Bolt Beak at any point. But if we're leading with Arcanine, it's likely that he'll want to go for a high horsepower. He also might be scared of Togekiss with Dazzling Gleam. We are a Green Grace variant, so do not expect any crits from this Togekiss. The Berry with the Dazzling Gleam, Air Slash, Life Dew, and Follow Me. So one other thing that I'm a little bit wary of with this team is the fact that Blastoise's only water move is Water Spout, so we're going to have to Dynamax it. Because if it takes severe damage, then Water Spout's going to be doing very little damage. My opponent ends up leading Whimsicott Dracozolt, which I'm not that fussed if Tailwind goes up at this point. Or maybe I am actually, because now he can kind of just freely smash into my Togekiss. So maybe this was a mistake. I think I'm going to switch into Raichu here to take advantage of the Bolt Beak. And no, that's the actually no that's fine actually. Yeah, let's go Flare Blitz into Whimsicott. No. Let's switch at Arcanine so we can lure the Bolt Beak away into Raichu, and let's go for an Air Slash here. Air Slash, I'm not convinced, to be honest. This is probably gonna be a bulky though, because I don't have the EV spreads or anything, so you won't have them you won't have the Showdown export in the description. But what you will have is the code that you guys can use to play with this team, which he ends up going for Protect. I thought he might just straight up attack me, but obviously he just wanted to make sure that he was, shielding his Dracozolt. And something very interesting there is the Whimsicott does not have the Focus Sash, which tells me it's most likely on either Chandelure, Noivern, or Bisharp. Chandelure may be a Trick Room Imprison variant. Very interesting to see Whimsicott not running the Focus Sash there. Bisharp could be... So, if Chandelure is that Trick Room Imprison, it's likely that it could be Focus Sashed. Bisharp and Noivern are also common Pokemon that like to have a Focus Sash. Chandelure comes in here. I do think Dracozolt switches. I really do. I'm very tempted just to click Nuzzle here into the Chandelure to stop it from... or to reduce this thing's speed. We also have access to a potential Fake Out. That's one of the reasons why Dracozolt might switch. I just don't see a point in Dracozolt staying in here. I suppose he could Max Quake. Yeah, I mean, maybe he max quakes here. I think I'm going to click Nuzzle into Chandler. Or I could actually just switch out and bring an Arcanine. That would be another option. Right, let's go Nuzzle. I'm going to switch out Togekiss, and I'm going to bring an Arcanine. That's going to allow us to get another Intimidate off against this Dracozolt. It also makes it so that we resist the Heat Wave. Raichu's Assault Vested, so we should take a Heat Wave okay. Maybe not if it's combined with a Max Quake, but we'll see. Dracozolt's attack is going to be continuously lowered, as I expect his Pokemon to Dynamax here. I'm expecting it to be the Dracozolt. But a -2 attack, I mean, that is quite a drop. We've essentially removed Hustle and then some. So it certainly puts us in a good defensive position. As I said, I expect him to go for a Max Quake here and not go for a... so there's the Heat Wave. Raichu actually avoids the Heat Wave, which is super nice. So only Arcanine is going to be hit by it. And we do see the Max Quake come out from the Dracozolt here. Into Raichu, who actually doesn't even take that. At -2 attack, I thought we'd probably take that, to be honest. It must be Life Orb. It must be Life Orb. I'm very, very surprised, actually. And yeah, maybe I should have switched out Arcanine there. Sorry, switched out the Raichu into Arcanine. In this situation, I could just Dynamax Blastoise and hit this thing with an Ice Beam. If I can get this Shell Smash off, I don't know what Blastoise's base speed is. I don't know what its base speed is. A Bolt Beat going off the damage that it did, the Max Beat to Raichu is going to knock out Togekiss. I'm sure of it. I suppose I could bring in Blastoise here, and maybe just Dynamax and go for the Ice move potentially. We've certainly not put ourselves in a great situation. Does Blastoise live a Shadow Ball plus a Bolt Beat? There's no way. Unless I Dynamax here and go for a Max Geyser. Which at -2 attack, with Tailwind gone, maybe maybe Togekiss can 1v1 the Dracozolt. I mean, it's probably asking quite a bit. We're going to be needing to outspeed it, and I think Togekiss' base speed is only like base 70. So I'm going to go ahead and double target this Chandler. I'm going to have to Dynamax it, otherwise I just lose Blastoise. Unfortunately, we're unable to go for the Shell Smash. I wish I'd kind of just led Raichu Blastoise, because what I could have done is just Shell Smash Fake Out at first turn. Because he couldn't have Bolt Beaked, because Raichu's Lightning Roll would have taken it. He would have had to go for the ground move against Raichu before he could do anything else. We do see the Shadow Ball go out into Blastoise. Blastoise doesn't take that very well at all. He actually gets the critical here, which is super, super unfortunate, as a Max Lightning fires off here into Blastoise. This is, again, -2 attack, though. So Blastoise is able to take that. We had to Dynamax that we would never have taken it otherwise. I do think this thing is probably Focus Slash, which is why I've double targeted it with Arcanine going for the Flare Blitz here. He's actually running Flash Fire. Why are you running Flash Fire? With the amount of screens going around at the moment and things like Lapras, would you not be better off running Infiltrator? Surely. Surely you're better off running Infiltrator. Or surely you're better off going for that Burn Chance. But no, apparently you wanted the immunity. Okay, so that's super, super annoying. Because Blastoise ain't going to survive this next turn. Unless, how many turns of Tailwind is he? He's got 1 turn of Tailwind. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to Max Guard. That's going to waste that last turn of Tailwind. We're going to switch Arcanine out. There's no way he's going to go for a... There's no way he goes for a Bolt Beak into or Max Lightning into Arcanine here. So we're going to go for a Max Guard. Bring Togekiss in. Togekiss needs to survive this turn. I do think he possibly goes Shadow Ball into... No, he's just going to go for a Heat Wave. Well, Heat Wave is never going to knock out Blastoise, so which means he has to be targeting Blastoise here. Togekiss actually able to... Togekiss able to avoid the Heat Wave as well, which is nice, although Rain was up, so it doesn't really matter in the long run. And now what I can do is go for a Follow Me. And with that Follow Me, I can go for a max Hailstorm into Dracozolt. Get some super effective damage off. The other plus to this is that we're going to draw the attack away with Follow Me. So that Blast just goes down. He does just go Heat Wave. Should do very, very little damage to either Pokemon. Dracozolt does go for the Bob Peak. Actually misses, which means Togekiss can get another Follow Me off next turn. And Blastoise can come through with a massive max Hailstorm there. Dracozolt able to tank that, though. Dracozolt able to tank that. But we do set the Hail, which means Chandler is gone. And we actually see him running Weakness Policy Dracozolt, which is super, super interesting. Never seen that before. But down goes the Chandler. So you either have Noivern, Conkeldurr, or Bisharp in the back. Probably best case scenario is Bisharp, because Arcanine can most likely 1v1 it. I mean, I suppose it's an offensive set. Does Arcanine die to a +1 Sucker Punch? Maybe if it's Life Orb. It's actually going to be the Bisharp that comes in here. So let's go for the... Let's go for that Ice Beam into Dracozolt. Or do I just target the... I don't have a lot that I can hit the Bisharp with, though. Like, Water Spat is literally going to be doing nothing here. So I think I'd much rather go for the Ice Beam. Although it's highly likely that you just... See, what I'm thinking now is that he just protects with Dracozolt and goes for an Iron Head into Togekiss. Which... If that's the plan, then I may as well just click Water Spat and get some damage off. I didn't even get my attack off. I ran out of time. I was correct in predicting the Protect. I was debating on whether or not to bring Arcanine in at some stage. He does just Iron Head as I expected. We are the Berry though, so maybe we can live this. Oh yeah, we tank it. Wonderful. We absolutely tank it. This Water Spout is going to do very, very little damage, unfortunately. Oh no, we end up Dazzling Gleaming, which actually kind of works in our favour. So we didn't end up going for the Follow Me. The Dazzling Gleam actually does quite a bit of damage here to the Bisharp. Obviously, Dracozolt is going to be able to protect from the Water Spout. How much damage can Water Spout do? We are in Torrent range. It's not really enough, unfortunately. So I do expect him to... obviously want to target my Dracozolt. Arcanine here does have Extreme Speed, which can probably knock up either Pokemon from this situation. So I think here we just go Ice Beam into Dracozolt and go for a Follow Me, because Bisharp will want to go for Sucker Punch to win the game. If I've got E-Speed, it stops him from going for Sucker Punch. Follow Me also stops him from Sucker Punching, which means, with a little bit of luck, Blastoise is fast. I expect it to be fast because it's running Shell Smash. We go for the Follow Me. Iron Head is... Bisharp's actually the fastest thing in the field, so it could end up being Scarf Bisharp. Little bit surprised with how fast it is, to be honest. Oh no, he's Life Orb. Well, in that case, Bisharp may end up dying to Hail here. Volbeak is going to knock out Blastoise. Does Bisharp die to Hail? Because if it does, then we may be able to finish this game off with Arcanine. Hail goes off into Bisharp. Bisharp does go down. So that was number 4 Pokemon, which leaves this with a -3 Dracozolt, Electric Terrain gone, and of course my Arcanine, who is at a pretty good amount of health. Arcanine naturally outspeeds... it does naturally outspeed the Dracozolt. I actually just forgot. He actually had a Weakness Policy proc, so he's essentially at... So we've got 3 Intimidates off, but he had Hustle and a Weakness Policy, so he's actually at neutral. I'm just going to check Arcanine's speed stat. I think around 157 is Arcanine's max speed, or 160 is its max speed. It looks like we're max speed Adamant. So if he's Jolly, he possibly outspeeds us. Possibly, if he's Jolly. He might not be because he's running Tailwind. This team looks super reliant on Tailwind. I'm going to go for Protect here, and just try and chip away his health a little bit more with Hail. I'm really unsure as to go for an Extreme Speed. I better check Speed Tiers. Let me go on Cerebi here and have a look at Dracozolt, because if Dracozolt outspeeds us, then we're in trouble. So we're at was it 147, I think it was. So Drakazolt's max speed with a Jolly Nature at level 50 is actually only 139. So we should outspeed it no matter what. Close combat is neutral. It's a base 120 attack. Flare Blitz has stab, which is 180, but it is also resisted, which drops it down to 90. So close combat is going to be the attack that does the most. We should be able to outspeed and knock him out here with a close combat. Arcanine does outspeed and does take the knockout. So, you know what? I'll take that. I will certainly take that. A bit of an awkward game. Obviously, it's the first time I've used this team. Blastoise, what Blastoise did in this game was it created a lot of panic for my opponent. The moment Blastoise Dynamaxes, it's got a lot of bulk there, especially with the redirection. It hits Chandler for super effective damage. It can hit the Drakazult for super effective damage, which just causes all kinds of problems for my opponent. Being able to set the hail was super useful to be able to remove the Chandler from play without actually having to directly hit it, which meant I could get a lot of damage off onto that Drakazult. So I think Blastoise was pretty useful in this game, honestly. Obviously, we didn't use it to how you want to see Blastoise being used with that Shell Smash. And this probably was a game where I could have pulled it off, going for that Shell Smash and Raichu lead. Probably wouldn't have been a bad option for me. Although, even if he... I don't know what Blastoise's speed is, but so even if he was able to set the... Or even if we were able to get Shell Smash off, there is no guarantee that Blastoise was living a hit from the... I know, because we had the Lightning Rod. I suppose if he ended up going for the Max Quake onto Raichu straight away in that first turn and set Tailwind, then he removes my Raichu from play, and on top of that he's able to get a Tailwind off on the second turn. So, I mean, nothing was guaranteed then, but I'm very, very glad that we were able to win the game. So, I mean, obviously this is quite an interesting team, so it's good fun using it. Drill, Sylveon, Togekiss, Incineroar, so not a very unique team for my opponent. Rotom Wash and Duraludon, but that's fine. He only has one water resist, and actually that one water resist resists everything that Blastoise wants to do. I'm not that scared of Duraludon, although it does often run electric moves. I think Raichu Blastoise is a pretty nice lead here. I could certainly bring Clefairy as a way of, you know, having another redirection Pokemon that isn't weak to electric. Also, Frengar could be super nice. Alternatively, I could bring Rotom here. Rotom does hit the other Rotom for super effective damage. We also have redirection with Ally Switch, and we can also hit hit a lot of damage off onto the Togekiss. It's very, very important that I remove the Excadrill, because my other Pokemon might struggle to deal with it. And I'm tempted to bring Arcanine, to be honest. Arcanine looks like he's got a pretty good matchup. Hits physically against the Sylveon. We've got close combat that can hit Duraludon. We've got close combat that hits the Incineroar. Flare Blitz hits Drill. We're not max speed Arcanine though. We are Adamant instead of Jolly, so I'm not entirely sure whether or not we'll outspeed the Drill. But we'll have to see. So it's going to be the Drill Duraludon lead. Now with Stalwart, he can actually hit me with electric moves, which is something that I didn't initially think about. So he could actually just go ahead and Thunderbolt and Thunderbolt and Max Quake my Raichu, and I'm going to be in a world of hurt. So with that in mind, Rotom resists both attacks. I think we've switched Rotom in onto that Raichu slot. Blastoise here, I could actually just click Max Geyser. I do think I'll live a Thunderbolt. I really, really do think I'll live a Thunderbolt. And I could just take out the Excadrill, which would free up Raichu quite a bit. Which obviously allows me to get things like Nuzzles off. And again, I'm not going to be going for Shell Smash, but I'm not sure how useful Shell Smash will be with that Rotom Wash hanging around. So I'm going to go for damage and see if I can just take out this this Excadrill. Drill is often Focus Sash, I suppose, so that could be something that he could be running. Stalwart will also avoid the ally switch, which really sucks. I feel like Stalwart should... I mean, I guess you need an ability to be able to counter redirection somehow. He is going to Dynamax, though. He is going to Dynamax, and it's going to be the Duraludon. So he's going to be going for that Max Lightning. A Life Orb hit with Max Lightning is going to do quite severe damage to Blastoise. Maybe he forgets about Stalwart and decides to go for something else. And not go for Max Lightning, but I'm sure he will go for Max Lightning. I've expected the... I mean, in fact, it might be Mold Breaker, actually, so I'm not going to be immune to it. So maybe I should have switched in Rotom into the Blastoise slot and just gone for Fake Out. That maybe should have been a better option. He actually ended up just going Iron Head, so he's going to... So he's just... is he going to double target my Raichu? It looks like he's going to double target my Raichu here, so I actually make a really, really nice play bringing in Rotom. Although, like I said, we may end up struggling a little bit against this this Rotom Wash if I'm not careful. He was obviously predicting me to switch out into something. I'm not entirely sure what, but Max Geyser's going to go off here into the Excadrill, and we do knock it out. So he was not focused, actually. Maybe Assault Vested. Maybe AV. So it was Drill, Duraludon leading. Drill has gone already, which means I could bring Raichu back in now. And a rain-boosted Max Geyser, even against a Duraludon, is going to do a lot of damage. Even if it is resistant, Duraludon's special defense is only base 50. So Blastoise, again, just sat in the situation where it's just super, super scary. I'm going to switch Raichu back in. We are Assault Vested. And I'm just going to click Max Geyser into this Duraludon. I just want damage off at this stage with Blastoise. Blastoise is looking pretty tasty here, to be honest. I'm a little bit scared of a potential Hyper Voice. You could also go for Mystical Fire and drop my special attack, which obviously wouldn't be doing much damage. Raichu can come in and offer some Fake Out support. Ends up going for Protect with Sylveon, which is absolutely fine. Maybe he Max Guards as well. No Max Guard, although Max Guard would have gone before Sylveon, so... ends up going for the Max Worm, so it looks like he's not running that electric attack on Duraludon, which is super, super interesting. As he looks to get an attack drop, which really does nothing for him. As Blastoise is able to get off a rain-boosted Max Geyser for some massive damage here. Yeah, so that's a solid 2-hit KO against that Duraludon. And I can just go for Fake Out in this next turn and just stop the Sylveon from attacking. And again, just fire off more damage into this Duraludon. He could end up going for Max Guard. But this team just seems to have a really nice flow to it. It just seems to be able to... I suppose the correct word would be that the team just has super nice synergy. It's got kind of bulk where it needs it, speed where it needs it as well. Interesting that he doesn't have Stalwart with the electric move, though. Yet he led with the Duraludon. I find it very... He was obviously expecting me to lead with either Clefairy or the Togekiss. End up bringing in Rotom Wash, so we do see it in the end. So we are going to want to keep Raichu around, because obviously that means that he can't go for those electric type moves with Raichu on the field. As he does fire off another Max Wormwind. This time going to Raichu, but Raichu is Assault Vested, so we are able to tank that. Tank that? We are able to tank that relatively well. Yeah, well, I'm pretty happy with how this is going. Blastoise is able to take a knockout here with another rain-boosted Max Geyser, taking up the D-Max Duraludon. Goodbye, my dude. Goodbye. And we know that he just has the Sylveon and the Rotom Wash. Both at full HP. We know the Sylveon isn't Specs. We've seen the Protect on it. But we also know that Raichu is the fastest thing on the field right now. I absolutely think Sylveon goes for Protect here. There is no reason for Sylveon not to go Protect. No reason whatsoever. I think he Protects, and I think he Hydro Pumps into Raichu. So with that in mind, I think I'm just going to switch Raichu out and bring in my Rotom. And Blastoise is going to go for an Ice Beam here. No, not Blastoise. You kind of don't do anything here. I suppose I could Shell Smash. It's a bit of a ballsy play. But I could Shell Smash and then go for a Flash Cannon the following turn. But if I'm doing that, there's no reason switching Raichu because I want to give myself Rotom versus Rotom. So I think I'd rather get damage off onto the opposition right. And we're going to take a bit of risk. I'm pretty positive he Protects here. I am pretty positive he protects. He doesn't protect. That's bad. He actually goes for a nasty plot. So he's definitely going to look to go for Hyper Voice here regardless. As Blastoise is going to reduce its special defense. This was a mistake. This was an error of judgment. Yeah, it's a double down. Okay. I really thought he would just Hydro Pump it and get rid of my Raichu, but no. Apparently, Nasty Plot and Hyper Voice was a great play by my opponent. I possibly should have went for Nuzzle or a Nuzzle and maybe Flash Cannon combined into the Sylveon, but it's put me in a very awkward position now because I need to hope my Rotom's going to outspeed his. A lot of Rotom don't run Protect because they're scared of Gastrodon, so they'll often run Dark Pulse. I think here I click Protect with Arcanine in case he chooses to Hydro Pump me. We're going to just Leaf Storm into that Rotom. I just think he's going to... If he's running Protect with Rotom here, he protects. But like I said, not all Rotom run Protect, and he doesn't have any Grass types on his team. So maybe Drylund's running Solar Beam. Maybe that's why he doesn't have any Grass types on his team. But so if he's not running Grass types, he's going to need to be able to beat Gastrodon. We'll see. We'll see what this Rotom does. If he protects, he wins the game. He actually fires off a Dark Pulse here into my Rotom, and that'll be a good game. So those last two turns kind of lost me the game. That penultimate one for sure. It was a very interesting situation as well in this game because I thought the Rhyhorn would have an electric move, and it turns out he didn't have it. And look, he didn't. But now I know that he didn't have an electric move. I was pretty much free to click Shell Smash on that first turn, which super surprised me. This is game over at this stage. There's no way I win this. But it super surprised me. I suppose maybe if I bought Clefairy, I probably had a better chance of winning this game, or maybe even Togekiss. I probably didn't play Rotom very well, both Rotoms really. My Rotom against his. Letting Rotom switch in and take that much damage on that first turn, I think we took around 75% damage. Quite severe. I kind of wish this Rotom did have some healing item though. It's running Occa Berry as opposed to something like a Citrus Berry, which I would have much preferred because Rotom really likes that recovery because of how good its typing is against a lot of the metagame. And against a lot of those bulky water types that like to run ice moves. I really feel like a Citrus Berry would have benefited us quite a bit. Nonetheless, that is this episode today. I hope you enjoyed it. This is a pretty interesting team, to be fair. But we're going to be using it on Wednesday, and we're going to be using it on Friday. Of course, tomorrow, Tuesday, we'll be using your teams on stream, so make sure you're there, and make sure you have teams for me to use and review. Anyway, I'll see you next time. Goodbye.